All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew, and we're here to talk trades. It is probably every sports fan's favorite time of year, the off season, where there's nothing but hope and optimism. And we're here to bring some more of that because it seems that the Lakers are intent on making a major upgrade, which I mean every team is, or most teams are. But the names that are being floated around, it does feel like the Lakers are kind of trying to shift back to like add another star, and specifically stars that will be able to exist happily and like actually mesh together with AD post LeBron. So, with that being said, there are three central teams in these discussions. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers, we have the Atlanta Hawks, and we have the Brooklyn Nets. And they each serve a different purpose. So, Matt, I'll toss it to you. Where would you like to start?
Um, I think we start with the Hawks. I feel like we've been linked with them for longer. DeJounte was heavily rumored in the trade deadline,
Yeah.
and also because it's two guards. I think there's a little bit of a debate between Laker fans between Trey with Murray. I feel like you are either strong on the right or strong on the left with Trey Young. You're either no, he sucks, he's the worst defender on the planet, or you think you can help him out. They're both guards, which to me is the biggest thing. I think that is what we need. We need a consistent scoring guard who can help out in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. We saw what happened with the Nuggets, and I'm gonna be honest. Laker fans have been making me very upset, very very upset with these stupid takes. They absolutely could not stand D'Angelo Russell in the
Yeah.
playoffs. They said we need to upgrade him. He's so inconsistent, and they're right. He has disappointed two straight Nugget series. But now they're saying, you know, maybe we should just get a big and then sign KCP and Caruso. And then if that were to happen in the middle of the year, they'd be saying we LeBron can't run point guard at 40 years old. It's like make up your mind. It's making me so upset.
Yeah.
And the other thing they say is, well, the last star guard we traded for was Russell Westbrook. Well, that guy couldn't shoot. He turned the ball over. He was lazy. He hated everything, and he couldn't defend. And that's why he's never won. That's why he'll never win. So it's different situations. They bring up the Suns. They just got a third star. They had two of the most efficient, skilled scorers of all time, and they added a volume scorer who couldn't stay healthy. We have the best defender in the world, the best player of all time. We are a physical team. Where we struggle is we struggled with in the playoffs was the consistency from the backcourt, who could help create in the fourth quarter and the third quarter when LeBron is a tired or two has a bad matchup in front of him, like Aaron Gordon or something, and we never want to give AD the ball.
Yeah.
We need help in the backcourt. We need help with a guy who can facilitate and score. So you get the best player who can do that. It's not just, oh, let's get a third star for the hell of it. No, you want the best possible players, and a guy like Trey, and we'll get to Mitchell later, feels that. So, sorry, is a long rant. It really makes me upset. I think Trey is perfect for that on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, there's some question marks. Murray, he's a good player. I'm not super thrilled on him. I don't.
Yeah.
He's never played winning basketball. We don't know how he is in the playoffs. Oh, the other thing about Trey, he took the Bucks to what 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
He's had one All Star teammate, I believe, and it was just Dejounte Murray. He has been incredibly successful for a poverty organization like the Hawks, and he's competed with other stars in the NBA. So yeah, pretty high on Trey Young, not too high on Murray. I think he was a good defender with San Antonio. He just hasn't really cared recently. I don't think he's. I'm not very high on him, but high on Trey Young on the offensive side of the ball. I love the potential. Who you feel good about both of them? Which one would you pick? What do you think?
Yeah. So with Trey Young, if he like Tyrese Halliburton right now is being lauded in with praise, and like he deserves it. Kinda. He's been good. He's not carrying this team by any means. The Pacers are really well balanced. And I bring him up because Trey Young was younger than he was when he carried the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like he embarrassed the Sixers in that series, and he was getting his s off against the Bucks. Trae Young, like you said, defensive questions with Trae Young. I will disagree in that there is no question that he is a horrific defender, but everything you said offensively, yeah, I agree with, which is why he's my number two target. I'll get to number one in a bit. We don't got to bury the league. Donovan Mitchell, we'll talk about him in a couple minutes. He's my number one. Murray is interesting. I like him. I probably like him more than you, but they value him so insanely high because they gave up 3 picks or whatever because they're a horrible team and for DeJounte Murray. So now they have to make up the assets that they lost for making a horrible trade. So at the price they want him, absolutely not. But if it was salary and a pick and a swap, like if it was Gabe Vincent, JHS, and a pick, one first and a swap, like this year's first and a swap, I would do that immediately, honestly. Like, because Murray is good. He's an actually good player. The reason that I didn't want to do a Murray trade this during the season is because they demanded Austin Reeves, and that's ridiculous. They produce the same way. If it's Murray and Reeves in the backcourt together, that is an actual upgrade over D'Lo to me. And I know, even though I was a huge D'Lo defender, Laker fans didn't want to make the trade for D'Lo, even if it was like D'Lo instead of Austin, because theoretically they put up the same numbers, and they just don't get it the same way. In the playoffs, how you score matters. D'Lo gets to his 3 spots and he misses a lot, and he hit shoot all of his mid-range jumpers are contested because he gets no lift and doesn't really get separation. The way he finishes around the basket is way different than Murray because he doesn't have the athletic burst. Everything is just different. It's the same way like in baseball. We've been talking a lot about other sports recently. Baseball, when you have relievers in the playoffs, you don't want crafty guys that miss barrels, but guys are always putting the ball in play. In the playoffs, for me at least, in basketball, I don't want guys that are like, I don't want a lead ball handler guy that's like a finesse kind of, I'm gonna put it in over you and I would get the call in the regular season, but I'm kind of looking for a call in the postseason. That's not my type of basketball. And I love D'Lo. He's just unreliable in the playoffs. He was better this year than he was last year, and he had 2 absolute stinkers that cost us the series essentially. So yeah. Anyway, a long time spent on Murray for me. I apologize because it's not going to happen, but that's still a name that's constantly being floated out there. Trae Young, it's interesting. I really like him. I'm a massive Trae Young defender, like you said. It's super polar, just polar opposites. You either love him or hate him. I love him. Like he's won in like the context of being an Atlanta Hawk more than most Atlanta Hawks, like since Dominique Wilkins. Like it's crazy, or since the fake 1 seed they had in 2015. Like that's it. See, the franchise is horrible. Defensively, it would be an even bigger hole than D'Lo, which is the only reason I would be fine if they pass. I'm not gonna be upset if he's not a Laker, but if there's leaks that saying they could have traded for him if they wanted to, they just needed to add like 3 picks and salary and like JHS or whatever, and they could have kept Reeves, but they passed because this, I will be upset. But it's just every trade they make has to be about the future. Like it's about now, they're gonna be better. But you have to, if you're trading 3 first round picks, and I don't care about 1st round picks in terms of drafting, I care about having capital to upgrade your team, which is what we would be doing now. If you're trading all of your tradable picks for the next decade, it has to be something that's going to benefit us in 3 to 4 to 5 years. Because we'll still have picks to make, but we can't trade them. And Trae Young with AD is elite offense, and it's potentially the big that can really. I mean, not potentially. AD cleans up after everybody. We had bad defensive guards this year. He just cleans up after everything. So I think it would work. Anyway, that one has legit steam. So that's why I kind of wanted to like leave on that note. Like Trae Young is an option. I think we would both be in favor of it, depending on price, whatever, of course. But yeah. So from there we go to Cleveland, and they're a super interesting team because the theory of them should be that they are a step away from really turning it up a notch and like being legit contenders. I personally think it's impossible. Not with the two small guards they have, not with the two bigs they have. The team is backwards to me, but they very well should not like if I'm being objective for the health of basketball, a team that was a top 3 seed, were they? Top 4 seed at least? Yeah, they're 4 seed, excuse me. They were the 4th seed. That team should not be looking to dismantle with young players. Like that should not be happening. But there's potential that Donovan Mitchell is over it. Or at least to the sense that he doesn't see a future winning there. And if he pushes the red button, shout out to Drake, then that team begins to look very different because he only has 1 year left, and that's basically where you can say, as a star player, you got to trade me or I'm walking, and you have to trade me to somewhere else, to somewhere I want to go. Because if you trade me to, say, Milwaukee, I'm just going to walk after this year and they'll lose everything. So that means the other teams won't want to make that trade. So I'll shut up for a little bit. Sorry. Donovan Mitchell. You can address Cavs as a whole, but obviously Spider's the biggest thing. But take it where you want, Matt.
Yeah, I think a big reason why I talked so much about Trey in the beginning and like how I felt about the Lakers fans and how we needed guards because everything I said applies to Mitchell, except Mitchell's way better than Trey. Or, yeah, way better than him. Mitchell has gotten MVP votes. He's a legit star in the NBA. He's not one of those fringe kind of all. He is a star. He is
Yep.
going to be an all star pretty much every year. He was all NBA 2 years ago. He's a legit star, and he is exactly what we need. We need a guard who can legit score and be that closer type role. You know, Reeves did it a little bit in 2023 in those series where he closed out the Warriors, closed out the Grizzlies. We didn't really have that last year. D'Lo will never be that. I like what you said about you made the comparison to a relief pitcher. He is not a guy that can score in the playoffs. Mitchell is. Mitchell is an explosive guy, a three-level scorer. You, how are you going to stop Mitchell, LeBron, and AD? It's really tough to do. He is a legit three-level scorer. There's not really a flaw in his offensive game. He would be he would be huge, and it is tough to tell a four seed. No, you got to break it apart. But I think one thing it could be helpful. They still got young guys. If Mitchell's gone, they still got Allen, or they got Allen, Mobley, Garland. That's not gonna work out.
No.
Two guards. It is such a weird team as you pointed out. Very weird.
Yeah.
But it could be useful. Send them back maybe because it would be either it's gonna be a good player going back. Ruiz, Rui, D'Lo, or whoever. It's gonna be a good player. So maybe that could help us in this trade. That they're gonna get a solid piece back. The East is god awful, and it pains me to say because the Celtics are getting a freaking cakewalk to the finals. But it's not very good. So if they think, okay, Mitchell is gone. If Mitchell makes it clear that I am not signing back, like I will not be here next year, then they're gonna trade him.
Yeah.
And if they can get a couple good young players back from the Lakers plus picks of a team that's pretty old, that could be huge. The other thing is you mentioned earlier, this this trade needs to prepare us for the future and make the future better. We are getting the duo of Mitchell and AD. That will be the Lakers for the next 5, 7 years. AD's not that young anymore, which is really sad to say. But that will be one of the best duos in basketball when LeBron retires eventually. That is setting up the next generation of the Lakers. That this would be. We can't understate how big of a trade this will be because he is a 26 point per game scorer, 3 levels. He has gone stupid in the playoffs. Remember in the bubble with Murray. He can win a game in the fourth quarter for us, and that's crazy to say on a LeBron 80 team. But yeah, as I know you're high on him. I know I've talked very highly of him. He's great. So yeah, I know obviously you're gonna like him. I'll just say, do you think it's realistic? What do you think the package would be for him?
Yeah, so there's a couple directions, and actually, I'll bring the Brooklyn Nets into this because obviously, way different caliber of players at the top end, but they could actually turn out to be very important to any trade we make. because I'll take it back a little bit. D'Lo is the most important person in this entire offseason for us because if it is Aaron Mintz, his agent, asks around and he discovers that no team is going to give him $20 million, D'Lo might end up opting in, which is apparently a very real possibility because he's going to make 19 million next year, and that very well might be higher than any offer he gets. And if he risks it and someone doesn't want to offer him 20 plus for multiple years, he's stuck at the mid level, and that's 13 mil, and he might have just screwed himself. So I bring that up to say there is exactly one team in basketball that actively wants D'Lo there, like cherishes him as a player, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. And I say only one team because in any trade that would involve D'Lo's salary to the Hawks or the Cavs, because those are the two like main stars right now, they were explicit in not wanting D'Lo there. Granted, he's expiring now, so it's different, but the Nets would have to be involved. So you mentioned the Cavs' hilarious roster. It is crazy. If it's D'Lo going to the Nets and the Nets sending them maybe another first, or because the Nets, I actually learned this too. The Nets have a trade exception for 20 something million dollars, which means they don't actually have to trade anybody back to the Lakers in a sign and trade, assuming it's that, or if D'Lo opts in and just gets traded there, which might be good for the Cavs because the money will still work out, but they don't have to take on a salary they don't want, and instead can just get an extra pick or an extra swap. So that's why the Nets are important to me. They have Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder and whatever. The players are ancillary. It doesn't matter. So I bring that up to say, I think the Cavs are a very legitimate potential target for this offseason. It's just that there's the issue of Dan Gilbert being the owner and him hating the Lakers like really bad. Like he hates them. He hated LeBron for a long time too, but they seem to have reconciled. Anyway, so there's potential questions there. I'll talk basketball though. Everything you said about Spada, spot on. Not even going to mention anything else. You said it perfectly. In the event that Mitchell extends, the rumors are that Darius Garland will actually want out. So would you be cool if the Lakers pivoted from Spida to Garland, or would you rather them, like, in the secondary, if it's Garland versus Murray, who would you want of those two?
That's a tough one. I think they're pretty similar. I do like Murray. Like I don't hate Murray. I think I was more upset with. I think they think he is like the same answer as like a Trey Mitchell. Trey Mitchell. I don't think he's that. And I think they would want the same asking price. I don't know. I think Garland's. I would have to check his postseason numbers. I don't really like guards that aren't, like explosive, like Mitchell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see him. We just talked about the duo of Mitchell AD, Trey AD. I don't see him as that guy where he could be the second best player on championship team. I would absolutely love him with LeBron and AD for the future, and it is a perfect second option. So you tell me Mitchell extends. He is furious. He really wants out. We get a good trade package. We get him. I'm absolutely thrilled. Same thing with Murray. So I'm gonna lean Garland because I think it would be a more reasonable deal than Murray. I think the Hawks would, demand something.
Yeah.
Because like you said with the 3 picks. So I think the other thing is he's more of a natural point guard, which I think would be helpful for the Lakers. And if you somehow get that trade done and keep Reeves or keep someone. So yeah, I would lean Garland's. I like his game. He shot 37% from 3 last year, 41% the year before. I think he's a perfect number 3 to LeBron AD. He helps offense, and I don't think it would be like a ridiculous package.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go Garland. What would you go?
I probably go. I'm not. I go Garland. If someone told me you can guarantee that Murray is gonna shoot the 3-pointer the way he did last year and not the 3 years previous, I would choose Murray because he just like Garland is a genuine true point guard. Like that's I think if we swapped the position positionally at least D'Lo for Murray, we would feel a little bit of like playmaking hit. Even though Murray kind of grew into it a little bit more, but that team was a mess. I honestly kind of don't want to count any of his whatever. Garland is like a legit true point guard whose stats have held up from regular season to postseason more. It's just that regular season he's either been hurt, which like freak injuries. It's not like soft tissue stuff. Like he broke his jaw earlier, and this year, and he missed a lot of time with that. But his numbers aren't super crazy, Im- impactful in terms of like when you see you're like, oh crap, like they're not eye popping. I don't think you need that, but it would. I think it's more fair to argue that D'Lo to Garland is a lateral move than it is D'Lo to Murray. So
Yeah.
if I can get the same exact price for each, I would probably go Murray, honestly. But I wouldn't be mad with Garland. So as we run this out, I want to do a little exercise. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm sorry, and I'll do it too. Of Spida, Trey Young, Darius Garland, DeJounte Murray, and I'll throw Jared Allen in there because everyone's going to talk about needing a center, which we do. If you had to rank those five from most wanted to least wanted, or like most wanted to you're cool on that, what would your order be?
Spider one for sure. Ray two. Tough to rank the it's tough to rank the guards with the bigs. I think I'd go again. I think honestly I think I kind of agree that like guaranteed he's gonna shoot well and it's going to be the same package. I'd probably take Murray because he's just more explosive. Garland is he's too similar to D'Lo, but I think he is very a lot better. But all things considered, I think Garland's also younger. The whole
Yep.
package, everything considered, I'd take Garland three, and then four I'll do Murray, five Allen. I would like Allen, but they are going to that's going to be a big package for a center, and then you're still going to need a guard. So I'll keep the guards together, and then I'll put Allen last. But I do really like Allen.
Yeah.
What would you?
Yeah.
I assume Spiders one.
Yeah. In a vacuum where like the Lakers' needs don't matter and it's just players I would want, it's Spida, Trey, and then Allen, honestly, then Murray, then Garland. But because the Lakers can find a backup big to exist on the minimum or like on the low, whatever, which we'll get into also, we'll do a free agent video. So Allen is going to be last just for that, but I would say I do like him the third most in terms of options. It is Spida, Trey, and I'll go Murray, Garland, Allen. Or honestly, if D'Lo opts in and we can keep him somehow, I would put Allen over Garland still. The more I think about it, Garland is kind of just like a nice player, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't. Yeah,
sorry to cut
no,
you
no,
off.
yeah,
That he is not an explosive guy. He is not a star. He is not like a game changer. He is a very efficient, good basketball player, and that's why I said I really I haven't looked at his postseason numbers, but just from my experience with basketball, that typically isn't a guy who takes over a game. So that's also why I said he's not like the duo with AD when LeBron retires. He's a good player. He's a nice player. He was an all star, but he's not a game changer. I also don't think Murray's a game changer. I think Mitchell. I think Trey is.
yeah,
Allen. Allen would be so big with this team, but I mean, he would demand a package where it's like
yeah,
assets are everything. When LeBron retires, we're gonna need those assets to get our guy. If we send half of our assets on a legit good big, who's gonna be the guard? And
yeah.
if D'Lo leaves, then we're screwed.
No, 100%. That's why he in my functional list, he's definitely the last. If you're gonna spend a pick and a swap, which is probably what it would be, and
Yeah.
you'd have to send either Gabe and another salary or Rui. I'm not doing that. So yeah, and again, Garland, like everything, I agree with everything you just said. If the price reflects his lack of high impact, I would be perfectly fine because he's a great point guard to have. I would love to have him on the team. It's just we're talking. We need to be strategic with the assets, and I feel like Jared Allen is a higher impact guy compared to Garland. If we have to pay, what would probably be the same price. But 100%, if we're going all in on a trade, it has to be a guard. So yeah, we'll definitely be breaking down each player individually. We're gonna be going. There's gonna be so much stuff. We haven't even reached the end of the NBA regular season, and we're already getting this much stuff. Once the regular season ends and we get into draft season and teams are really focused on trades and all the rumors come out, well, it'll be firing and so will we. So thanks so much for watching. Go Lakers.